Shane Mosley exposes Gervonta Davis's weakness with Ryan Garcia. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, the big homie Shane Mosley recently gave an interview, and he spoke about the Ryan Garcia Gervonta Davis fight that's upcoming on April the 15th, I believe. 22nd. I can't remember. They changed the date. I can't remember the date. I think it's April the 15th. They moved it up a week, I think. So, he gave a few details on why he feels like a certain someone is going to win this fight and for what reason he feels like they will win that fight. And I want to give my 2 cents as usual. Break it down a little bit, then we're going to get out of here. Alright, so Shane Mosley, we all know Shane Mosley was a tough fighter in his day. He had some really good fights. Took some brutal losses too, but you got to respect Shane Mosley, his opinion, and his boxing career because it spanned 3 divisions and he's a great champion. Might not be the top 5 greatest or top 10 greatest of all time, but definitely in that top 20, top 25 of all-time fighters. So, he gave his feelings on the Ryan Garcia Gervonta Davis fight. Very interesting what he had to say. He actually picked the underdog in this fight. He said he feels like that the weakness of Gervonta Davis is going to be the size of Ryan Garcia. And I think a lot of people feel like the size of Ryan is going to give Gervonta trouble, and I don't understand why. I'm hoping one of you guys out there, anybody out there, can explain this to me, why they feel like the size of Ryan is so much different than the size of Mario Barrios or Leo Santa Cruz or, you know, some of these other bigger fighters that Gervonta's already fought. And had absolutely really no problem with those guys. The only problem he had was people felt like as he was coming in, he was getting hit too much. But I've explained that whole thing in plenty of videos already, that he's just gauging distance. So those pop shot and punches that land, that I don't think they even affect Gervonta Davis. But Shane Mosley said when you think about Ryan Garcia's size, the difference is they're both left-handers. They both have that left hand ready to go. So when Gervonta throws his left hand, Ryan's going to be ready to counter with his left hand. And I can see that. You know, I can agree with that. I can say that, you know, it's going to be more fireworks in this fight because both of those guys are going to be throwing from the same position. There's probably going to be some stepping on feet. A couple of times they might fall over before they finally, you know, gauge each other's distance and movement and all that type of stuff. Probably around 3rd or 4th round, that stuff's going to stop. I'm predicting, I don't think it's going to go past the 7th or the 8th round. Somebody's going down by then, and y'all know who I think's going down, but I don't think it's going to go past the 7th, 8th round. So I think after the 3rd or 4th, once they finally fill each other out, and gauge the distance and everything on both sides, there's not going to be a lot of tangle ups after that. But in the beginning, I do anticipate some tangle ups, and maybe Gervonta does get hit with a punch here and there that he doesn't see coming. But I did a video about their defense, and I feel like Gervonta Davis has the better defense. So, and if you feel like he has the better defense, you gotta feel like he has the better chin. So I'm so confused and complex on why people think that Ryan is going to beat this guy. Like, they feel like, okay, the size, the speed, the power, those 3 dynamics should win you any fight, right? But it's like they're not even looking at Gervonta Davis's talent. And this is all coming from people not picking Davis, which means they're not looking at it fairly anyway. And I guess you could say I'm not looking at it fairly because I'm picking Davis. But I feel like I'm looking at it straight down the middle. I give Ryan Garcia his credit for being probably the faster of the two fighters. I don't think he's the more powerful of the two fighters. And I don't know if his foot speed is better than out of those two fighters, or than Gervonta Davis's foot speed. And when you look at the rest of the intangibles, Gervonta Davis has the knockouts on his side. Gervonta Davis has the ring IQ on his side. Gervonta Davis has the defense on his side. So if they both got speed, power, the ability to utilize the ring, then you got to look at the other intangibles like defense, body movement, those type of things. And chin, who has the better chin? And I think 9 out of 10 people would say Gervonta Davis has the better chin. He's never been down, and we've seen him get brutalized by a couple of fighters. I was looking at some stuff on not YouTube, but Instagram the other day. I was looking at something on Instagram, and he was fighting, I can't remember his name, but every time they came out of the clinch, dude was throwing like these random shots out of the clinch on Gervonta Davis. It's not cheating, but it is cheating. If we're gonna do a fair release of the clinch, there shouldn't be no punches thrown on either side. And there were punches being thrown by Gervonta's, by his opponent in that fight. I can't remember his name, but he was throwing some dirty shots. Now, perhaps Ryan tries to incorporate that. I'm pretty sure he's watched this fight I'm talking about. Perhaps he tries to do a little bit of the dirty fighting out of the clinch. Possible. Maybe he tires Gervonta out by leaning on him because of his size. Possible. But I think, once again, you would have to think that Gervonta Davis is not a seasoned fighter, or that he's just completely stupid if he's going to let somebody do that to him. I mean, we've never seen a fighter dominate Gervonta Davis. So I have no doubt in my mind, or belief in my mind, that Ryan Garcia is that guy. I just don't see it. If anybody, I think, has a shot in the lower weight classes of doing that, I would have to say that is Josh Taylor. I think Josh Taylor is the most dominant from 130 to 140. I think he's the most dominant. He's just not in their weight class. So they have no reason to be facing up with Josh Taylor at the moment. But I think if you put Devin Haney in the ring with Josh Taylor, he probably loses. I think if you put Shakur Stevens in the ring with Josh Taylor, he probably loses. If you put Ryan Garcia in the ring with Josh Taylor, he probably loses. You put Gervonta Davis in there with Josh Taylor, I would say it's a 50-50 fight. Hey, that's just me. If you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't. But when it comes to what Shane Mosley was saying about this fight, that the size, the power, and the speed is what's going to win Ryan Garcia the fight, I would say it's going to keep a minute for a couple of rounds, and Gervonta Davis is going to take off once he gauges everything he needs to gauge, and once he gets comfortable within the fight, boom, it's going to be lights out. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comments section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you would like to collaborate, hit my Gmail. It's flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are mighty.
I got a plan, better yet a blueprint. 100,000 CDs trying to start a movement. Mama told me pray about it, you can do it. Daddy told me they won't give you shit, you gotta prove it. So I'm back with my true shit. Me against you like a bat against a toothpick. But yet I'm still on my cool shit. Calming niggas down when they wanna pop a few clips and leave your brains on your collarbone. Hey, your ass all gone like Cotto home. If you're feeling like I'm fly, you are not alone. But you a bitch, get your runway model on. I'm fly. You ain't never heard a track this clean, You ain't never heard a flow this mean, You ain't never seen a nigga this high. I'm high. You ain't never seen a nigga this fly, fly than a set of wings. I'm fly than you ever seen. I'm fly than them other guys. I'm flyest motherfucker alive. Show a player love when I approach her. Bang on tracks, keep my mic in a holster. Your boy ain't missing, but his face on posters. A young, fresh nigga, bad as fly as a vulture. I stay around dead guys, try and make my bread rise. Potent marijuana, give me red eyes. And I ain't lying, you can smell it on me. I ain't let the bouncer hit it, so he telling on me. Nigga run the longest.